got something for you, and I can hardly breathe. Something draws me to you, it's taking over me. Don't know where you came from, but you're cutting deep. When the music's over, will you come with me? Tell me you can feel it, though we're oceans apart. I've got love for you, I've got love for you, and I know this magic sparks inside who we are. I've got love for you,
You were mine and I was yours. I would wait just to be wound up in your arms. Time will tell us just where we go. Always stuck inside your tornado. 'Cause I'm waiting out the storm before I up and go. I see beneath the scars I never saw. Oh, I'm waiting out the storm. I hear the thunder roll, but it's tearing me apart like a tornado. Every time we rewind to the way we were before, waking up, still stuck in the endless back and forth. Time will tell us just where we go. Always stuck inside your tornado. 'Cause I'm waiting out the storm before I up and go. I see beneath your scars I never saw. Oh, I'm waiting out the storm. I hear the thunder roll, but it's tearing me apart like a tornado.
Why you so defensive? You always miss my calls. Run around in circles 'cause you're nervous I won't catch you when you fall. You're so defensive. Why you so defensive? Don't listen to the voices in your head. They're gonna take you down and you know it. I'll be waiting till you come to your senses. Baby, tear down your fences. Baby, tear down your fences. Don't listen to the voices in your head. They're gonna leave scars if you don't show it. I'll be waiting till you come to your senses. Baby, tear down your fences. Baby, tear down your fences for me. Baby, tear down your fences for me. I can feel you slipping, yeah, slipping through my hands. Oh, causing me confusion, keep on losing. Guess I'll never understand why I miss you, and that's an issue. Oh, don't listen to the voices in your head. They're gonna take you down and you know it. I'll be waiting till you come to your senses. Baby, tear down your fences. Baby, tear down your fences. Don't listen to the voices in your head. They're gonna leave scars if chances. Baby, tear down your fences. Don't listen to the voices in your head. They're gonna leave scars if you don't show it. I'll be waiting.
Initiating match.
That I Overwatch, and it's gonna be such a good day.
Yes, I mean I have a little bit of familiarity with the South African scene. It has been a little while since I was fully involved. So, I recognize a couple of these names. I recognize Centicole. Centicole, well known for being a very strong Mei player. Not going to be playing the Mei role today by the looks of things.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
In fact, in this trials setup, and go to being one of the most coordination-heavy compositions, and individual play it really shines in this sort of composition. And of course, with the mirror, it means that you can effectively see how the two opposing roles play against one another. So there is a little bit of method into this unfortunate goats fest, and hopefully we're going to see these players shine.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? We're not playing for the victory. We're playing for showing how much more wheat you are than chaff. So on the subject of wheat, let's get this bread as our teams are starting to come in. We've got Team South playing in the blue, Team Africa playing in the red. Team South taking this weird high ground defensive position on the side of the point, dropping down immediately to contest as Team Africa have come barreling onto the point to take pretty much the defensive positions. Both Zari bubbles down and out for now. There's the first kill. Shapeshifter, like a loop, going down. That is going to look like a resounding victory coming for Team Africa. Just got to get these last few stragglers off the point, and that's going to be for them captured. No way this stall is going to work out. Down goes Visions. Just Ashbro left on the point, about to get D-Mech. Out comes the pilot deformed, straight smashed away off the point, and Arturia back in the heck out of there.
You're absolutely right about that. Very weird high ground position. And of course, Team Africa just needed to rotate onto point. And once they got onto point, it was so easy. They had to force Team South to come down. And well, there you go. As soon as they touched point, it was over. Some unfortunate bubble placements from the Zarya's, and main tank goes down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And look at the aggression coming out from Team Africa, engagement already up on the high ground via this StarCraft mech, whose name I'm not particularly familiar with. But we've got the rubber band coming back in from Team South as they get in. It comes to this, the shatter comes in. It looks like a loose on the ground. The focus is there. Out comes the Transcendence. A little too late to save the Brigitte, but they are going to make this into a mush of a fight if they can. Big charge coming in. Take Shapeshifter down and out of the fight. Beautiful charge from Riposte coming in. High energy on 20. Centicole with a chase takes Labius out of the fight, and that is going to be Team Africa continuing to push this payload right the way down main.
Really well played, in fact, from Team Africa. That forced aggression, forcing Team South to aggress onto them. Then they backed up a little bit. Team South used some of their abilities and cooldowns, and as soon as that happened, we had the Earth Shatter. It was blocked for the most part, but Luke going down was really unfortunate there. We've got some good ultimates online here from both teams, though, so this next fight could go either way, and it's really going to come down to how they use their abilities.
Well, that's a Diva Bomb that I don't think had quite enough flight distance that we're hoping for. Grab it on Surge, the Diva Bomb over the top. Earth Shatter is big from Ashbro. Shapeshifter with the follow-up. Finally, Team South getting some possession of the payload, and we are going to see it was a nice try from Dizzy to throw themselves over the edge using that speed boost from the Transcendence, but sadly not going to be enough. And Team Africa threw a lot into that fight and didn't get much to show for it.
Yeah, well, Team South also threw quite a bit as well, but it was that Diva Bomb that really kind of clinched it for them, getting 2 picks out in the back line, and then that got the distance and the height that Ashbro really wanted, and that Senti just wasn't able to match with his initial self-destruct. So now we're going to be coming in for this re-engage. We've got a Brigitte rally online.
Yeah, that's a big advantage for Team South as they come in. Shapeshifter using that to good advantage, take Dizzy out of the fight straight away. Visions with a follow-up onto Riposte. Team South resurgent to the minute, coming back into the point. Got to get these last few kills to get this the final handful of meters. Visions in the kill feed, taking Centicole and 20 down and out of the fight. There's the pilot form, Centicole. Centicole just being left, but of course they can't really afford to give them that much. They actually got a cheeky bit of progress on the end there with the pilot form. That's not quite the stagger you would like.
Yeah, unfortunately, they are very, very, very close to this next checkpoint. And that engagement rally was insanely powerful, and it's helped them build up quite a few ultimates. Now, Visions does have that Transcendence online. 20, not even at a grav yet, but Riposta's about to have the Earth Shatter, and Tox still has the beat. They can possibly engage with beat here, and that could give them a massive advantage, but they might just go in dry.
Yeah, but this is all about the Reinhardt v Reinhardt here. You've got to watch this foot again. Who can get the better of the shield management to get this shatter in over the top is going to dictate that. But we've got a rally coming in from Squishy. They're using that just to put the foot to the floor as this big car starts to move its way forward. But that's now both rallies in on the fight. We're going for a high ground rotation for Team Africa. Finally dropping down. Shatter comes in. It catches Visions. Visions alone. And in the background, an even bigger Shatter coming in from Shapeshifter with the follow, with the charge, with the fire stroke. Taking Repulse from Squishy down and out of the fight. This fight moving away from the payload as Team South rubber band back in, and once more Senti, the last left alive, nowhere to throw themselves, boom, back into the middle. Are they actually going to get? Yeah, that's a big old stagger. That's the sort of stagger that mothers use to scare their children straight.
Okay, maybe not my mom. Maybe you had a weird mom.
I did.
My mom told me about
Really
the
weird.
And Team South finally starting to show a little bit of dominance. Those first two fights, they got absolutely destroyed. But then Ultimate started coming online, and it seems to me that they've got a better grasp of their Ultimate economy. And here we go, yet another engagement so quickly.
Yeah, oh, there's a Graviton, but again, the self-destruct seems to have been caught on the geometry. It does manage to get Centical, and Centical also taking Lavius's Graviton Surge off. Another Shatter online for Riposte. Doesn't seem to get too much. Sound Barrier out as well to keep these last few remaining members of Team Africa alive and in the fight. But once more, Team South having the better of this engagement.
Yep, they are holding so strong here, and it's kind of the point that I was getting to, and then the players decided, no, you may not, we're going to fight now. It's coming down to this ult economy, and it feels like Team South have really got their rotations down, and by rotations, I mean the actual ultimate rotation. But now, coming into this next engagement, all they have is the Earth Shatter, and we are going to be seeing an engagement rally from Squishy, no doubt. This is last fight territory. They're going to need to throw in absolutely everything that they have to try and get this last checkpoint.
It is. This is what I wanted to see. Finally, not taking this high ground rotation that's not fared well for them the past couple of engagements. They're going low ground through this night shot. Oh, the drop down from the top rope. Shapeshifter with a shatter. Riposte going down out of the fight. There's the counter trades coming back and forward at the minute. Astro manages to take 20 down and out as well. We're going to see a D-Mech very shortly center forward down out of the mech. Team South once more looking pretty good here, managing to hold the payload. They've just got to get rid of Squishy. 10 seconds left on the clock. We're probably going to see one last second recontest. Centacle able to get the mech back in. Can they get in and keep the overtime tick burning? 1 second left to go. Yes, they've just managed to keep this alive, buying time for the Reinhardt to get back to the fight. Then a Graviton Surge and a Diva self-destruct in over the top. Nobody left alive. Team South, after being rolled on point A through those first few fights, coming back resurgent, strong, flexing all over Team South.
Very, very dominant defense there. As you say, finally, it started out, they had a little bit of a weird misfooting there. And I mean, it stands to reason. These players, they're not necessarily people that play together too often. If I take a look at Team South, we've got Shapeshifter is the only one from Team Unidentified. And then we've got Leica Luke and Arteria from Energy Esports. Visions not currently playing on a team. And then Ashbro from 2CP, Lavius from GG. So these are guys that don't really play together too often. And that really starts to cause a bit of a mismatch in synergy. I could go through Team Africa as well, but it's pretty much the same story. And that's what's making it so difficult. But what I like to see is how Team South managed to, clearly through the use of their communication, what's being said in comms, they managed to kind of rally together and form that synergy that they were lacking, and they managed to hold on.
Yeah, so, maybe what we saw there was a minute of scrabbling to get their feet under them whilst they try and figure out, okay, who's going to be shot calling, who should I be listening to, who puts what where. And once they finally got that, they started to look a little bit strong, but I have some questions about that early positioning. up on the high ground to the right of the point. Seems I don't think I've ever seen anybody try to hold there with this Zenyatta Goats composition, and it clearly didn't work out for them because Team Africa were able to just rotate on and take up the defensive position on point, which is exactly where you want to be with this comp.
Exactly. I mean, Team Africa now, they've set up a far more commonplace defense here. You've seen far more often, and it does tend to work out a little bit better, and they will be able to, you know, drop down onto Team South if necessary, or wait until Team South aggress in on them. So they do have a little bit of an advantage here, but it really comes down to how they use that advantage. And at the moment, it's just going to be a little bit of poke damage trying to build up those ultimates.
Yeah, it's a really slow rotation coming up from Team South. Looks like they were almost considering whether or not to commit to this, but commit they have as they come onto the high ground, barreling on, almost catching Squishy out, falling very, very low, but able to get out and keep themselves alive. Big charge coming in, finds Senti, secures the D-Mech. That's a big loss early on in the fight, but Shapeshifter goes down straight after Toxin Socks and Centacle, managing to take out the Squire and the Knight themselves, and that is going to be what we didn't see from Team South, a hold on point A for Team Africa.
Very well played. Team South took a little bit too long to finally get that engagement. Team Africa knew exactly where they were coming from, and there was a lot of damage being funneled through that small little choke point. So by the time Team South managed to get through, they were already quite low. Team Africa did a nice little soft reset back to point, healed up a little bit, and it was easy for them to just hold on to this point now. But Team South are coming in with a rally. Luke going low very early, and that's not what you want to see because he can't build up. Hello.
That's a shatter. It looks like of course, Ristine says Harry Bubble, so Martin really coming out of that. Shapeshifter dies so early on in the fight. Graviton Surge blocking all of Team South up, but not able to get any kills from Team Africa. Shatter coming in, catches 3! That's a big omelette they're making, cracking a bunch of eggs with that meaty frying pan of a hammer coming out for Riposte. Beautiful engagement, and they're coming to set back up on the high ground.
I mean, that was a very, very unnecessary Earth Shatter. That was really style points.
It's about sending a message.
It really is. It's like, you know what? You're not getting on my point. I'm going to throw my Earth Shatter at you, and I don't care that I no longer have an ultimate. Get off my point. But Team South, undeterred, they are coming back with the Graviton Surge and a self-destruct as well. Of course, Ashbro's self-destruct have been getting very good value throughout this game. So let's see if he can do something similar.
Well, that's a nice initiation coming in from Senti, loving it right into the back. Visions and like Luke goes down. Lavius, not to be outdone too with their own. But when the dust has cleared, Centacle coming up big in the kill feed. And Team Africa holding on to the point.
Very unlucky there. I mean, that self-destruct, it was so much easier for Team Africa to get a high-value self-destruct. They just threw it into the back line of the attacking team, which is kind of exactly what we saw Ashbro doing when they were on defense. Now that they're on attack, it's a little bit more difficult to get value out of those self-destructs, but he does still have his self-destruct online as well as the sound barrier. Coming through on Team Africa, however, they only have the Transcendence. They don't have too much else. And again, we're coming dangerously close to last fight.
Well, here's another initiation coming out from Ash. Sadly, the ramp of the stable sends it flying. Shattering on the back line allows Lavius to get 20. That's going to be a nice little bit of opening damage, but Shapeshifter once again dies very early on in that fight, like a Luke with their own shield and whip shot, trying their best to equalize. This might finally just have been enough for Team South to get in and get a bit of possession on the point, but we've got the 3 supports of Team Africa valiantly holding on, trying to keep this going for as long as physically possible. They may just have bought enough. No, they were moved off the point, locked up with the Graviton Surge at the end. Is going to be a big stagger at the end there. Are we going to see aggression coming out from Team South here, or are they going to accept that they've maybe lost a few people and back up and give themselves a bit of space?
I mean, that rally was so powerful from Squishy to keep those 3 supports alive, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. They did burn quite a lot of time off the clock though, which is pretty much what they wanted to do. And you mentioned Shapeshifter dying early. He's going for some really aggressive and dangerous charges, and that's exactly what happened earlier. He got very out of position, very easy to punish him. He's going to want to make sure he doesn't do that again. Some nice ultimates coming online here as well. We've got 3 ultimates for the defense. For in fact, oh, there we go.
Early grab it on Surge, walks to pretty much all of Team South, and the self-destruct in over the top. Doesn't get any kills, I think, does get the DMX onto Ashbro. Rally in the fight, sound barrier, 2 sound barriers, in fact. Everybody press Q and see what happens. Zarya bubbles down, Lavius manages to take Ripples down. Earth's getting in over the top, puts 2 on the ground, coming in with the hammer for the cleanup. 20, once again, taking Shapeshifter out of the fight. What looked like they were going to be 3 kills, were maybe a bit more expensive than intended. Squishy with the rally there to keep the remnants of Team Africa alive, and in the fight, Graviton Surge self-destruct in up top, but it lands on top, over the back, does find Socks, and Socks gets the DMX onto Senti. Squishy finds the opposite number, another Graviton Surge. These seem to be happening every 20 seconds or so, which is an incredibly fast tick rate. Team Africa, though, looking like they may finally have taken control of the payload. Shapeshifter on the run, trying to get out, is not faster than a Fire Strike. Unfortunately, Ripos getting the better of his opposite number. 1 minute, 5 seconds left to go on the clock. Not a huge amount here for Team South to play with.
Well, that's the thing. Visions completely threw away his transcendence in that last fight. I understand, you're in a grav, you're at 97% and you're smashing Q, but at that point, 3 of your teammates are already down. And he wasted that. So now they no longer have that. They do have the rally and they'll have an Earth Shatter fairly soon, but that's all they have to work with, whereas Team Africa are sitting on the Earth Shatter and the rally, and they're very quickly building up to more.
Well, I mean, that was almost perfectly in sync, those 2 rallies there, like a Lucas pushing coming at the same time. It's a big shatter, the Fire Strike onto Shapeshifter, and the beautiful, he gets a boot back, and he charges. He takes Ashbro down out of the fight. Beautiful play from Ripos. Ashbro doing their best to keep this alive, but sadly, Pilot Form Diva against a team of 6 is not a matchup you want to be taking.
Yep, and now they've used that rally, so they don't have it for this next attack. Team South not looking too good. You've got 10 seconds left. They need to touch point. Hopefully Arturia can use that speed boost, but they got to move.
Yeah, this needs to be a 3XL Big Daddy size Earth Shatter if Team South want to get anything done with this. To be honest, even just taking Riposte out of the fight with it would be good. Shatter comes in, it does find Squishy, made also additionally Squishy by the back of that, but Ashbro coming in, taking the neck, taking the Graviton Surge, self-destruct in the back, takes out Shapeshifter, and the sound barrier just to put the lid on the bottle is going to spell disaster for Team South, as there are very few people left alive and in the fight. The transcendence from Visions as he moves back away from the point, kept off the payload at the end. That is going to be Team Africa taking the win, but I think it's worth noting, not a huge amount of distance in that at the end.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate there. We had a great Earth Shatter bomb combo towards the end that really just kind of sealed the deal for them. It's a little surprising that they are staying with the format of having it so that you can win or lose. Usually what happens is you reset the map so that both teams have an opportunity to try and push all the way to the end. But at the same time, it wouldn't really have mattered. The result kind of would have been the same either way. Team South, they had a very good defense, but they just weren't able to bring it on that attack.
That round was at a natural disadvantage because these aren't people other than, occasionally on the ladder who have played together a huge amount. Yes, we've got a couple of team synergies here and there, but they're new teams and you can't expect a new team to, from the get-go, know exactly how the rest of their team are going to play. We saw 2 very different styles there between Riposte and Shapeshifter. Shapeshifter playing very aggressively means that his team don't necessarily know that going in. So hopefully in the following rounds, we'll see something a little more balanced now that these teams have a bit of a better idea of how to play together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we might even see a couple of swap-ups here, although for the... no, it might still be the same. I actually wasn't paying attention. Procaster, by the way. Okay, so Lavius has moved over onto Team Africa. They've swapped him out for Squishy. 20, sorry. Squishy, what am I saying? Yes, for 20. All right, so let me have a look at... I think that's the... Yeah, there's very few team swaps that have happened here, but we'll go through them quickly here. So we have Shapeshifter and Squishy from Unidentified. We've got Ashbro and Toxin Socks from 2CP. We have 20 from Energy Esports, and of course, Vision's no longer on a team. So we've got about like a 2-and-2 mix-up here. It's not too bad. And then over on Team Africa, It's just Riposte from 2CP, Senti, Luke, and Arturia, all from Energy Esports. Lavius, I did mention earlier, from Goliath. And the last one was Dizzy from Unidentified.
Yeah, I think we ought to just clarify for anybody that's tuning in that this is Energy, the word esports, not NRG, the acronym
Yes.
esports. Two very, very different organizations.
Very different, yes. But just as dominant. Energy Esports, currently one of the top orgs in South Africa at the moment, and of course their team being the top Overwatch team at the moment. And there was actually some debate about whether we should just send Energy Esports to the World Cup. It's fine, guys. You're the best we have. Just go forth. But I'm very glad we've decided to do the trials, not only because it gives everybody a chance to really fight it out, and it encourages the players to get back on the grind and start working towards something, but also it puts us a little bit more out there in the public eye, particularly with casting like we are now. People can get a little bit of a feel for the South African players before we get to World Cup. I like this.
Yes, I mean this is one of the things that I've got a bit of a soft spot for South Africa because one of the regions that sort of helped pick me up when I first started casting. So working with yourself and Trinok and Cloudburst and all the talent in the South Africa region. So it's great that there is now this big opportunity to showcase the talent that you have in the region. So I'm all for not just sending Energy to the World Cup. Let's let everyone else have a crack at it.
Absolutely, and here we go. It's floats v floats. Zenyatta floats, of course, because that Discord orb is so insanely powerful, but with a little bit of verticality here and Winston's mobility, it is going to change the dynamic a little bit.
Yeah, and it does seem like we've got a bit of maybe earlier, more aggressive positioning coming out from Team Africa, having taken the central point there. We nearly lost Shapeshifter there. That jump cooldown maybe just coming back in the nick of time to stop them dying. Visions gets the first pick though. Riposte, in fact, Visions gets the first two. Riposte, Lycalu, Lavius all going down. Team South coming in strong. They're pressing the advantage, getting those last few kills, and they are going to be the first to cap the point as it eventually flips over.
And 20 looking like a little bit of a Christmas tree over here, already up to that 80% ult charge. I mean, he's kind of doing laps around Lavius at the moment, but it is difficult for Lavius to build up charge with just how dominant Team South has been at the moment. Team South sitting on one ultimate in Visions. Of course, we did see him pop off there. Him clicking on heads definitely had a hand in that. Overall, Team South looking way better in the ult economy battle here.
Yeah, I like the do it, but it's so hard to get ult as Zen because you don't do enough healing. It's not about healing, buddy. It's about getting those heads and eating those grabs. Centacle getting rid of 20's big threat, and 20 with a follow-up takes Lavius out of the fight. Lavius has an ult of their own, but no way to capitalize on it. Team South come blasting right back in. They throw the tank ult at the fight, and we are going to see Riposte doing their best to get out of dodge. They do manage to escape, so at least able to rejoin their team. However, Squishy with a parting blow onto Lycalu at the end there. But it's worth noting Team South threw a lot of ults at that fight.
4 ultimates, in fact, that they just tossed out there. I will say that the self-destruct probably was a little bit unnecessary, but for the rest of it, I mean, it worked out. They won the fight. Team Africa coming in here with 3 ultimates of their own, and they are going to be looking to try and turn this around in their favor.
Yeah, coming in, Graviton Surge just locks up 20, and the self-destruct in onto the back. I've got questions about this ult usage, to be perfectly honest. Shapeshifter and Visions. We've seen Visions a lot in that kill feed. He's doing a lot of lifting for this team, and as I say, getting the kill onto Centacle as well. They've just got to get these final few stragglers. Graviton locks up 3. The rally from Lycalu. Not sure I buy that. Yes, it has kept them alive through that, but that was a lost team fight anyway. And with 94% of the point left to go, we've got to see some sort of contest coming back in. We've got to get Dizzy on point with the Transcendence to keep this alive. Big boom! Shapeshifter flinging those monkey arms around, takes Lavius out of the fight. Shapeshifter falling themselves shortly after. This is messy. This is messy to say the least. Dizzy finally coming back in with the Transcendence, and a late sound barrier from Toxis. Toxis is going to give them the advantage in this fight. Ashbro, Visions, 20, getting those final few kills. Just got to get rid of Senti. Yeah, Senti give it up a little at the end there as Team South take that 100-0.
A dominant display from Team South here. It seems like Team Africa just really haven't been able to get a good beat on each other. Their synergy is all over their place. Their ult usage is just it hasn't been great. But we did see something similar on the last map when we had then Team South defending, and they got absolutely rolled on that first attack. And then they kind of found their footing and they managed to bring back the defense. So maybe now after a map, you give yourself a warm-up map. So hopefully now Team Africa will be able to bring it back coming through onto the second map on Nepal. We are going to be going back to the normal goats. Float's not really as effective on this map. Not too much high ground, not too much verticality. We're going to go straight up with a Rhine v Rhine slugfest and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, and so again, we've got these two very different styles of tank play, Riposte versus Shapeshifter with the aggression. Let's see, in a different team setup, whether or not his aggression will pay off this time. That's both projected bubbles going down. That's both Discord orbs on the Reinhardt. He's got to back off as Team Africa are taking, once again, early, very aggressive hold here. Team South are having to back off a little bit. They're going for maybe a little bit of battle, waiting for some cooldowns to come back, but Team Africa are giving chase. They don't want to let them down. Centaur gets to the back. Shapeshifter goes down. This has been a really long, drawn-out fight, and we've got the rally from Leica Luke, meaning that this is pretty much carte blanche to go in and swing as hard as you like on Team South, as Team Africa are going to take possession of the point first off.
Well, there you go. Now they're just starting to show a little bit more of the synergy we wanted to see. The rally that came through from Leica Luke possibly wasn't necessary. It was pretty much a one fight at that point, but it did help them to just secure that last fight. That being said, Team South, they've got a rally that they can engage with.
Well, having that armor and that little bit of damage reduction means that you're getting a little less ult charge at the end of the fight, which is maybe what you're looking for if you know you're going to die. Let's just get some damage in. But here's the answering rally. Riposte throws the shatter right into the waiting shield of Shapeshifter, who now has one of their dueling Graviton surges, but of course no duel possible because Astro taking Labius's down into the waiting more. Big shatter comes in, puts two on the ground. There's the follow-up. D-Mech Centaur going down. Ashbro's mech down also. This is incredibly scrappy, this fight, but it looks like we are going to see Team Africa just about remaining in control of the point as Team South are banished back to spawn.
Another rally from Leica Luke. That's insane. That's one rally per fight. That's really, really good ult charge for a Brigitte here. And we've still got two ultimates online for Team Africa. It is the Self-Destruct and the Graviton Surge. And we just saw the Graviton Surge come through in the last fight. So the ult economy on Team Africa is absolutely insane at the moment. We've got Arturia about to have the sound barrier as well. Team South are coming through with 4 ultimates of their own. So hopefully they can turn this around.
Yeah, need to be careful. Well, there it goes. There's the Graviton Surge. Self-Destruct goes long, but it finds Dizzy in the back. Reinhardt into Reinhardt there. Charges cancelling each other out. Arturia with the sound barrier, bringing that in for Team Africa, allowing... Whoa, no, doesn't keep Leica Luke alive. There's a big shadow from Riposte, and the Self-Destruct finds two. Denty with a big one, gets the D-Mech 2. 20 takes Lavius down, but we are at 99-0. They need to get on and cap. Yeah, there we go. They have finally got it with a big bomb coming in. It's going to be the point flipping over.
And that was actually a fantastic attempt at a defense. I mean, we had the Earth Shatter bomb, and we had more Earth Shatters coming through, and it was absolutely insane. But unfortunately, at that point, Team Africa had already lost the fight. So now they'd already thrown in that Earth Shatter, and while it did get a lot of people, they weren't able to secure the fight. Now they're coming through with only a Transcendence in tow, and we're about to have another Earth Shatter from Shapeshifter.
Yeah, he's been really, really quick at charging. And we've got another rally from Leica Luke, but Squishy puts it into 5v6. Ashbro makes it 4v6. This is looking good for Team South. That's an abortive push from Team Africa. You've got to assume that that's not going to convert itself into a victory. Let's just get out, go back to spawn, and try again.
Yeah, and they did draw out the rally from Leica Luke as well. He doesn't have that online anymore. So they did manage to win that fight with only the Earth Shatter. Squishy, you cannot go down that early, man. This could be a lost fight.
Yeah, it's a big opening. No rally. Shapeshift down as well. Visions throws the Transcendence, but with 2 down already, that is a wasted ultimate. Graviton Surge just to secure the victory. Dizzy gets the kill on Socks there. Oh, another Graviton Surge. It locks up 4 and a Shatter just for good measure and a Transcendence. That's going to see Team Africa Resurgent coming back onto the point if they can just manage to get the flip on the back of that Self-Destruct. These Self-Destructs have seemed to have got an awful lot of geography. Shatter coming in from from Shapeshifter, not able to find anything either, and another rally. Shapeshifter and Riposte both down and out of the fight, so this could go either way. No main tanks, cards are wild, aces go both ways. What is going to happen here? It looks like a no, finally, a 7 is on target, but not able to find anything. Lavius taking Ashbro down to 20 with the equalizer. Dizzy getting 20 as well. So, Transcendence, what is going on? This has been going on for half an hour here. Come on, guys. Just somebody win this fight. Graviton Surge in at the back. Shapeshifter going down. And just wailing in with the hammer. There we go. Finally able to get that objective secured for Team Africa.
That last fight was an absolute slugfest. I'm surprised we ever got to the end of it. But as with all things, it does end eventually. And Team Africa coming out on top here. Now they've managed to tie out the score. So we are seeing them managing to find their footing as a team a little bit better. I just wanted to point out Visions' transcendences over the last, so not just on Nepal here, but on the previous map on Blizzard World as well. Transcendences have tended to come in just a little bit too late, and it's kind of unfortunate using that ultimate late in the fight, because then you don't have it for the next one. Whereas on the other side, Dizzy has actually been using them quite effectively, but he hasn't been building them up as quickly. So the Zenyatta v Zenyatta matchup has actually been quite interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's funny how we seem to have two very different styles of play on a number of different roles for both of these two teams, regardless of where they've been placed on the teams. Charge gets displaced, Shapeshifter not able to connect there, but is within hammer range of Riposte. Riposte already has a Shatter ready to go. Shapeshifter down, Shatter just to secure the fight. In comes everybody else, sweeping Team South off the point. That's a really, really dominant first fight coming in for Team Africa.
Absolutely explosive first fight, using the Earth Shatter so early on as well. And he is going to be able to build up yet another one, so it's not even all that concerning. Using it just to secure the fight there. Like a Luke at his first rally. And once again, Team Africa doing insanely well in the ult battle here. They've built up their ultimates very quickly. Team South not looking as good.
No, but like a Luke, I was going to say he was going to use that. Oh, Shatter coming in from Shapeshifter. Doesn't do a huge amount, unfortunately, and they get immediately focused down by Riposte. Riposte getting a quick triple on the back of that Shatter from Shapeshifter. Normally you expect a Shatter to go for your team, and it doesn't seem to have worked out for Team South there. It's almost like an anti-Shatter. I'm going to put some of your guys on the ground. Oh, and we died in that fight.
Yeah. Well, it seemed to me that his Shatter didn't get too much value. Somehow, like, everybody flew up into the air and nobody was on the ground. So, was a little bit unfortunate. But Riposte has managed to build up his Earth Shatter in the interim. They also have the Self-Destruct and the Transcendence available to them.
Yeah, and of course, trapped up in this little room, it's kind of difficult to get an angle. When Team Africa are so heavily in your face squishy, Pops the Rally is going to buy a little bit of durability for their team to finally get out of there, but immediately locked up by the Graviton Surge. Self-destruct from Sensi finds the support lineup, and Riposte and Lavius coming in there for cleanup. Who needs DPS when you've got a huge German with a hammer? That's what I say.
That was such an insane engagement, and it was so smart of Lavius to wait on the low ground, had his team communicate to them, okay, they're pushing through now, and there's the Graviton Surge. Self-destruct went out into the backline, so, Shapeshifter was unable to protect his team, got the 2k, and, that was it for that last fight there. Now we're coming into last fight territory, and Team Africa looking really good here.
Yeah, oh, beautiful Astro right in the back. Shatter in over the top of the Graviton. That is just a huge bounce back coming in from Team South. Yes, it cost them 3 tank ults, but you can't deny that it was successful and it was powerful and it made the world a more interesting place to live in.
Well, as interesting as it can be when you're spectating goats, I suppose. And coming through for this defense, they have almost nothing. They do have the sound barrier, which might be able to help them, but they are going to be coming up against an Earth Shatter and a what's that thing, Rally.
Yeah. I was just busy saying it sounded like you disconnected there, but we're glad that you are still with us. Hey. And we've got a Shatter thrown in once again, puts Toxin Socks on the ground. Nice opening from Dizzy, but Shapeshifter is able to take Riposte. That's both main tanks down, but we've seen this go both ways with the main tanks down for these teams. It really is anybody's fight to win, but that might just be enough kills coming in for Team Africa to bounce back and retake the point. Yet very few, in fact, nobody left alive. We've got Toxin Visions doing their best to keep this alive as long as they can, but it's just not going to be enough as Team Africa come in and flip the point. Oh, Shapeshifter coming in with a late shatter, but it's just not enough. What an absolute shame.
Yeah, very unlucky there. I mean, Team Africa came into that next engagement with everything that they needed, all the tools at their disposal. Unfortunately, Team South, all they had at the beginning was the sound barrier. So unfortunate, Team South weren't able to bring it back and take control of the point again. And I'm just going to mention again, Team Africa, we saw on that first map, not too sure. I mean, it could just be that floats isn't their strong suit, because as soon as we saw them swap over onto the goats, it started to go a lot better. But that could be a little bit indicative of the tank play. So that's definitely something that we're going to be looking at. Hopefully that the coaches will be looking at, seeing how the two Winstons matched up against one another, because
But it's going to be, I think, important to see how these people can flex once they're actually in a team and working together.
Yep, absolutely. And it looks like coming into a watch point, we are not going to be watching goats. And I'm curious to see, because something that was kind of discussed, all of the players were given a little bit of a cheat sheet with all of the different compositions that are likely to be run. Things like fusion dive, clockwork comp, oh Lord, goats, floats, you name it. Tons and tons of different compositions. So
Because obviously it's no longer just about who is the best in the mirror. It's about, can you outthink your opponent on the fly? Do you know how you're being countered? Do you know what to do to counter the counter? And that, I think for me, that's the best part of Overwatch is when
So once again, doing a little bit of a shuffle here, getting some players to mix and match a little bit. I do believe that there were as I did mention, there were 14 people that were trialing today. So we do have a couple of people waiting in the wings, and I'm excited. I think Toxin Socks was actually somebody that got put in the second game. If I remember correctly, he didn't play in the first game, or did he?
it happened more than 30 seconds ago, so I've like to say very briefly is behind the scenes, obviously, we see a little bit of the player chat. We have a note from Leica Luke saying he can't not Brig because he has a million ping. And if he's playing Brig that well with a million ping, imagine what he's going to be doing with sensible levels of ping.
Exactly. I mean, once bearing in mind that this is going to be played on LAN in Anaheim. It's going to be, the qualifiers are, well, not the qualifiers, the prelims are just before BlizzCon. It's going to be like the week before BlizzCon, and everybody gets to arrive en masse in Anaheim and play together with the same ping. So this is actually another important thing to note for Team South Africa. We play on currently I'm sitting at 190 ping, and some
Wow.
of our players have anywhere between 180 and 220, and sometimes we get like crazy lag spikes of a million, as Luke has
Mm.
just pointed out for us. So it's going to be
Ready for
insane
battle.
to finally get to watch these guys play on a decent, reasonable ping and play on the same level as their counterparts.
Yeah, it's I would look at 190 milliseconds of
Attackers
ping and go, do
incoming
you
in
know what?
30
This is
seconds.
unplayable. I can't be expected to play under these circumstances. So I'm going to turn off and try again when I've got a sensible ping. The fact that you all seem to be able to just muddle through and get the results that you get with that handicap is honestly really impressive.
Absolutely. I mean, bearing in mind that a few of these players have hit top 500 throughout their careers, and most of these players are in, at the very least, Grandmaster. So, I mean, these are guys that are performing. We're not sending a team of plats to World Cup. These are players that are performing even on an international level. So, giving them this opportunity to finally show what they're made of, I think is really going to make a difference.
Yeah, but look at what we've got coming out from Team Africa this time.
Ooh.
It's a high DPS Wrecking Ball comp riposte coming in on the Wrecking Ball. Slightly more conventional floats composition coming out from Team South. Labius in the back line, they're looking for pot shots, but we've currently got Team South holding blue boxes, which is pretty much what you expect for Gibraltar. But we are seeing the payload just being moved right past them. It's like, guys, at some point you will have to go and touch the payload. I know it's dirty. I know you don't know where it's been, but you will have to put bodies on it at some point. It's a lot of free progress gained for Team Africa.
And the thing is, the floats, as much as they can't actually see what each team is selecting, the floats is a good counter. Possibly just swap it up for a Moira. But besides that, it's actually insane that they managed to pick such a good counter comp.
Yeah, Riposte there unfortunately receives that Orb of Doom from Visions, meaning they're dying very early in the fight. Visions getting the snipe onto Lycalu, brought right back getting in by Archery. Lavius in the back, still trying to punish Shapeshifter as he pops his head over the boxes. 83% of the way to an ultimate, so getting a lot of body shots, maybe not getting the headshots they need to make this a victory. Barrage coming in, but straight into the waiting gullet of Centicle, taken out with a whip shot by Squishy. It was a valiant effort from Lycalu, but sadly, gotta wait for that Diva defense matrix to come down before you can really get anything done with it.
Yeah, very unfortunate. And on top of the Diva Matrix, there was also the bubble from Shapeshifter. The combination of those two defensive abilities meant that Leica Luke got absolutely zero value with that barrage. And then Squishy just, mace to the face and no more Farah. Now it looks like we are going to be seeing Team Africa swap over onto Goats. They've had enough of this triple DPS nonsense and tomfoolery, and we're going to start playing some serious Overwatch.
Well, yeah, but look at this. We've got Reinhardt versus Winston, which is normally not a matchup that goes specifically whether the Winston's favourite, but there's so much high ground here that running the Reinhardt seems like a really weird choice. But, if they can bully their way through onto the payload, then, that's kind of what I thought was going to happen. Riposte going down early, not able to get out of the way of the incoming aggression from Team South, is going to send Team Africa right back to spawn like a Luke, the last to fall. 1 minute 30 seconds left to go on the clock, and we've got ultimates to play with Team South and some empty-looking wallets on the side of Team Africa.
Yeah, very unfortunate, this late swap, but there is still a minute to go, which means they do have time to build up those ultimates. But again, it is very difficult because there's a lot more verticality and mobility for Team South than for Team Africa. So for them, building up ultimates is going to take a little bit longer, and they really need them to finally clinch this.
Oh, well, there's a big grab on Surge. The Diva way in around the back, but there's no charge there to help connect on the back of that, but they don't need it. Team South holding on to the payload. Team Africa with 50 seconds left to go. Like a Luke, the last to fall once again. So this is last fight territory. This is going to be very difficult for them.
Absolutely, and I mean, all they've got is the Transcendence here. They're about to have the rally, but the rest of their ultimates, they need to try and build those up. They don't have enough time. Shapeshifter, however, has the Primal Rage, and that's going to be really, really important for zoning and knocking people off of the point. This is going to be a spicy last fight.
Yeah, it is, but they've managed to gain possession of the payload, so this high ground for Team South no longer quite what they would like it to be. Shapeshifter finally down. That's 5 and 6 for Team Africa. Are they finally going to get this with the Transcendence coming online from Vision? Sound barrier, self-destruct on the payload itself. Will it fight in those last 2 meters? It finds Toxin Socks, doesn't find anybody else, and we are into overtime. Senti left contesting the point. Shatter in, finds nothing of value. Team Africa, they've just got to get rid of these final few bodies on the point, and in overtime, they're going to get that final 2 meters, and what looked like was going to be a full hold, finally, in the desperation of overtime, goes Team Africa's way.
Yeah, unfortunately, Shapeshifter just didn't have chance to hit Q and get that increased life and the ability to boop people across the universe, and he did unfortunately die there. Now they've swapped him over onto the Reinhardt, so going to be a little bit of a more even matchup here, but again, that's going to put him a little bit further behind on the ult economy. Team Africa are coming in with 2 ultimates here, and they're looking very good to push through to the next point.
I just think it's a little funny that we said to these guys, okay, guys, we're not going to stick you on goats. Play what you want. Play what you think's best. And here we are in Goats v Goats. But whatever, 20 gets the opening kill of this fight onto Lavius. That is a nice position to be in. Centaur gets the follow-up onto Like Luke. And Team Africa being bullied right back off the point. Team Africa, Team South even fully resurgent, come back. They want these final few kills, but they are just going to back out at the end there. But that's a really good use of aggression from Team South.
Yep, and they've built up a couple of ultimates there as well. They do have the self-destruct and the Graviton Surge. They've also got Transcendence, which is going to be great for when Lavius eventually does pop that Graviton Surge. Looking very good to continue this hold here up on the high ground, but Arturia gets the boot!
Oh, huge boot. Sadly, not able to get anything out of it, but it's dueling Graviton Surges. The self-destruct in over the back only finds one self-destruct. Also coming out from Astro finds nothing. Shatter puts Ardra on the floor, but nothing coming out of it because there are defensive ults in space for both sides. Visions gets the kill onto Lavius, but it is going to be... Oh, that's a big one. But there's not really enough people there to follow up, of course, unless you are Dizzy. Dizzy getting 2, 3, riposte. I thought that was over and done with. I thought that was going to be a Shatter that wasn't going to go anywhere, but such good presence of mind from Dizzy and riposte. They were able to clean up that Earth Shatter beautifully.
And of course, they knew that Visions had already used the Transcendence. Toxin Socks was no longer there. There was nothing to defend them from the Earth Shatter. But here we go, last engage to try and protect.
Yeah, well, we've seen this work out for them previously. Centaur gets the opener. Sound barrier online as well. And a Shatter that, once again, doesn't really connect with anything of value. Team South looking good as we roll into the final handful of seconds. Going to get a contest from Lavius, and we've got the bouncing Lucio of Arturia on the point, trying to keep it alive as long as possible, get those recontests coming in. Not quite such a successful overtime for them on this one, but still really good showing from them on the first point, but an even better showing from defense there from Team South.
Yep, they managed to hold on so strong there. And what I really liked was in that second last engagement, they didn't use any of their ultimates. They rather just died, and then in the last fight they came through, and then they just blew everything they had because
I think that's part of the mental game. It's like, do you know what, guys, we're not gonna wait. You're not even worthy of these ultimates. We're just gonna do this manually. Yeah, we don't need it.
And there you have it. And then in that last fight, they had a couple, and they were like, let's get this over with. You know, let's move on to the next one. It seems they have reset the map this time, so we are going to be giving an opportunity here to push even further if possible. I'm curious to see if it's going to be a similar situation as Blizzard World, where it wouldn't really have mattered, or if, in fact, we are going to be seeing a push here from Team South that supersedes what Team Africa were able to accomplish.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, well, this is all going to be about whether or not, well, I think this is going to be all about whether or not we see this Goats v Goats matchup, because we kind of know how that has gone from the previous rounds. But if we're going to be seeing this aggressive DPS comp coming out from Team Africa this time, if they can make this work and look the better team here, I think that's going to be a really good position for them to be in terms of showing themselves in a better light for this sort of tryout process that we're in the middle of.
Yeah, and let's have a look here. We've got floats coming through on the defense here. It's exactly what we saw earlier, and as we mentioned, it does work out very well with all of this high ground and verticality. Over on the attack, I'm not going to say too much about Squishy until the doors actually open, but for the rest of it, in fact, I do suspect Squishy will swap over onto the Pharah. He has been known to be, there we go, pretty good Pharah. And let's see if this triple DPS works out a little better for them than it did for Team South.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much exactly what we saw coming. In fact, it's exactly what we saw coming out on the last round. this exact matchup. So yeah, let's see how this works out. Currently, we've got Team South crowding into the room just left the blue box, denying a lot of value from Farah, but Squishy already at 60% and climbing, takes Riposte, takes Dizzy, on the way to getting that ultimate already, gets a third, Levius down and out, but we have got, I believe, a big old South African spicy special lag spike.
Unlucky. Yep, this is the South African special. It came through from Riposte, who is on the same team as Luke. So it could be either one of them that's having some massive ping issues here. But as you mentioned, the difference between Squishy's Farah and Luke's Farah. Again, we have to keep in mind that Luke does have a billion ping, so it was a bit easier for him to get taken out. But Squishy, he's fairly well known for his DPS. I mean, he is a DPS player, and his Farah is known for absolutely destroying teams, and you can see exactly why. The rest of his team, obviously, they're there for support, getting a little bit more damage, but his direct rockets and the placement of his rockets so that he also gets maximum splash damage. His ult charge is ridiculous. He's the only one that has reached ultimate. In fact, nobody else even has 50%. 20 is the closest at 42.
This is 33 seconds into the game. 33 seconds for a barrage that seems like pretty good going to me.
Yeah, that's it's pretty decent. It looks like Riposte is going to need to restart. Okay, so it is Riposte, and he is going to restart his router. I don't know if we want to maybe just throw to a break screen in the meantime. I don't know how long this is going to take.
Yeah, this could be a little bit of a long one. So just while we're waiting for that router to reset, we're going to take a short break, but we're going to be right back. Don't go too far, folks.
I looked over my shoulder, saw you walking through the door. But you're not the same baby that I once knew. It's like I don't know you anymore. I feel the haze washing over you and me. I look for light inside the clouds. Sometimes the rain leaves as quickly as it stormed in. Looks like the worst is over now. Something strange in me. Pushing and you're pulling, gotta slow down. You're talking to me like you think you know it all. Well, it's dangerous, ain't no saving us if you can't let go now.
Well, guess who's back? We told you not to go too far, and we are coming back in. We've got a map reset here. So let's see if Squishy can recreate that 33-second ult charge. I'm led to believe that it may have been Riposte, who was having some lag trouble, subsequently making themselves quite a big target for Pharaoh rockets.
You're literally an ult battery.
Yeah. He's a big monkey with a big face. It eats a lot of rockets.
And I'm curious to see if we're going to see any compositional swap-ups here from these two teams, because now they've kind of had an idea. We have restarted the map just for the sake of fairness to both parties, to both teams. Again, this isn't an official map. It is a trial, so we want to keep it as fair as possible for everybody. So now that you speak about fairness, now obviously both teams know what the other one rolled out with earlier. So it's going to be interesting to see if they roll out with something different now that we've restarted.
Well, I mean, we've got the same defense coming up. We've got the float defense. And yeah, despite the fact that it looked like we were hovering over some more interesting choices, we've got this same Farah Sombra comp that we were seeing in the previous round. So keep your eyes on Squishy, everybody. Keep an eye on his ult charge in particular. That's what we're looking for here. Interesting that we've not got a high ground defense with this floats. They're not playing blue box. They're playing down in this cubby, which is... It's weird, honestly. It's a nice initiation. Yeah, nice initiation from Shapeshifter. Gets 36 and gets out alive. That's big. We've got a hack coming in as well. Successful. Takes Ashra, but of course, playing around the corner means that they're not really in a position to follow up on any damage on the back of that hack. Squishy at 57% already. Another nice initiation coming in from Shapeshifter with the power driver halfway to that ultimate. But they're actually using this bot quite effectively just to stall out the payload.
Yeah, I mean, they knew what the rollout was going to be, so they held down here to try and get a little bit more cover. But Squishy, however...
Squishy with the barrage, Shapeshifter with the minefield, gets the passing to for the team kill. Big.
I mean, let's talk about the problem with hiding out in the cubby. Yes, it made it a little bit more difficult for Squishy to get to them, but once Squishy found an angle... The barrage, the Hammond mines, once those all came out, there was literally not a thing that Team South could do to deal with the aggression from Team Africa. So Team Africa have managed to get onto this first checkpoint very, very quickly.
Yeah, they have, and they've got an early kill thanks to 20. They're taking Arturia out of the fight. Lycaluke gets a hack as well. So we've got Lycaluke. They're actually running, they're running the mirror matchup here, which is not a thing I expected to see anytime soon. Riposte over onto the Wrecking Ball. Nice initiation finds Riposte. Labius falling victim to Squishy. 20 gets the follow-up onto Riposte. Oh, this is not looking good for Team South. Team Africa in a very strong position. Don't know what Visions was doing in range of Lycaluke's fist there, but, it is what it is. Still alive thanks to the Mercy Res and rolling this payload forward.
Yeah, very strange, as you mentioned, to be seeing the mirror matchup here, particularly for the defense to be swapping over onto the mirror. I mean, the composition they had before was good. They just needed a Moira instead of a Zenyatta, but instead they've opted for the mirror matchup, and it's not working out as well as they would have liked. And Ashbro kills himself, so...
Yeah, Ashbro takes a dive. I think looking to come back in maybe on a Diva. We're looking for a bit of a reset here to go and challenge 20 on the high ground. Yeah. That's what I thought was happening.
Oh,
wait,
fusion
what?
dive.
Oh, fusion dive. Gotta like it. Is there going to be enough time for Labius to build up this Dragon Blade? Oh, not with that lack of support. That's 2 down already. And Team Africa do not want to give up any more than they absolutely have to. Squishy finds Labius 16% of the way to the ultimate. It looks like it's going to be difficult for them to get the Dragon Blade unless we get a very big hold in. There's so many ultimates for Team Africa here.
Yeah, I mean, Team Africa already doing way better on this attack than Team South. The Team South struggling just to get out the door.
Yeah, so unfortunately they have finally got there, but oh, Dios mío, the hackening of it all. Get by. Dizzy goes down, Centacle finding Riposte, and that's just going to be everybody down and out. What a beautiful ultimate coming out from Senti. It's going to be a full wipe. Oh, are we going to get this Sumiata? Dizzy slightly just a handful of animation frames too slow to get the recontest in. A valiant effort, though.
Score.
Yep, very unfortunate there. Team Africa is so dominant, doing really well on that triple DPS. I think that's a composition that I'm hoping to see a little bit more of. As we get into the World Cup closer to the time. This is a really exciting time for all of these teams because a lot of these players haven't really played too much on these compositions, and I think even if these guys. I mean, obviously, not everybody's going to make the team. And for those that don't, I think that the learning experience alone, being able to work with some coaches, bearing in mind that we do have a couple of tier 2 contenders level coaches that are helping out, just getting the input from these guys and getting that little bit of, even if it's just one-on-one coaching, even if they get some generalized feedback or whatever, just that little bit of extra information is going to do wonders for them as they continue on their journey in the South African leagues.
Yeah. I mean, this is. I think even if you don't make it through to the World Cup team here, the fact that you are in this shortlist and you have this opportunity to show what you can do on a slightly bigger stage, and the fact that there is going to be more attention paid to South Africa if they can get through the group stages, then just being here today in the tryouts, I think is a really big deal for all concerned.
Absolutely. And finally, getting some eyes on us and being out in the open, people kind of realizing that South Africa is a region where we exist.
It's a place. It's a real place with people with hopes and dreams.
It's not Australia and it's not Disneyland, so oof. Getting ready for this next map. I think they are going to be doing a little bit of player swaps here and there as well. Getting ready to move on to our next map. Not too sure what it's going to be. I think this will be the last map that we are going to cast. I do believe that Liz made it clear that we were only going to be casting the first 4 maps, whereafter I think they really want to kind of buckle down and get a little bit more serious about things. So it has been nice to do a little bit of casting. So this is going to be our last map. Let's hope these guys make it a good one.
Yeah, it's been fun so far. So I see no reason at all why we can't expect another good round. It looks like we are going to be moving over to Hanamura for this one.
Oh, very nice. And it's nice to see the different rotation of maps. If you guys have been paying attention, we did have a hybrid and we had control. Okay, never mind. We're going to Lijiang.
Oh, well, boy, do I feel
everything.
silly. Yeah.
Like, I was getting really excited about how we were going to do every single map type, and I guess not.
No, apparently not. Oh, well.
But I've been arguing with my producer in DMs for the last couple of minutes, but I do actually need to leave. So Authorize is going to be taking over as the color caster for the rest of this production. Thank you guys for having me. It's been absolutely fantastic. Tell your friends we are still going for one more map, but I'm out of here. So Phil, Authorize, take it away.
Well, bye, Nari. Hi, Authorize.
Hi.
Well, it's too late, Authorize. You don't have any choice. You have been, I believe the term is, dropped in it.
Nari's always just doing this to me, but,
she's not a good person. She's just not a good person. She's the sort of person who does this to people who would otherwise call themselves her friend. But we're glad to have you here, taking over for Nari. I don't think I've ever cast with you before. I don't think I've seen you up for casting. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Last match and first for us, first and last for everything. But looking at this team so interesting.
Yeah, can I just raise a quick point? I was certain I heard the die voice line coming out very briefly from that Reaper pick. But oh well, strange things happen.
Well, he wants everyone to die. It's not that hard.
Fair enough. Well, Blur was on the side there looking to try and get an... a nice early pick there from 20. Finds Labius in the back line. Blur wasn't able to get the knockoff kill they were looking for, but they have managed to come in. Not quite able to find the initiation they would have liked, falling very, very low, but getting out of dodge at the end of it. And it doesn't seem like anybody is particularly willing to properly engage in this fight. No one's really wanting to get in on the point. There we go, finally barreling their way in. Team South with the Orisa pick setting up the bunker on point. We've seen so much Orisa Hog in recent days, but we've got the stall spin coming out. Blur and Squishy get a quick 1-2. Vision's able to find 20 in the meantime. We're at equal ground. Squishy, though, finds the D-Mech. Vision's taking these down and out of the fight as well. And it looks like with a big round of applause to Squishy, they are going to see Team Africa taking the point first off.
Great fight from them, using that well. They currently have the barrage ready from Farah, so they're just going to wait for Team South to set up in a group so they can easily use that. Arteria is the only one with an ult on Team South. Vision is very close, but actually switching off to the Zenyatta there, so they're sitting low on their ult usage, so there's not really much they can fight in. Arteria is actually changing, so that's 0 and 2 in favor of Team Africa.
Yeah, I mean, this has gone all the way to floats. They decided this bunker composition wasn't working well for them, given what was being thrown at them. They're currently nice and grouped up. They're coming over the bridge, but they've got to know there's so much displacement available. Blur comes in, not able to find the displacement all the way down. Does take out Levius, and the power driver kill onto Visions at the end there. Does get booped off the edge, but honestly, 2 for 1 is pretty good going. Riposte bringing it back to equal numbers. Squishy still has the barrage, no need to use it. Sox and Cox getting in, bringing Centacle in, do the fight again. So at 51% captured and 3 ults still on board. This is looking great for Team Africa.
Only using the, I call it the wall hacks there from 20 to win that fight, or not win, at least push them back. Is a great ult usage in terms of Team Africa. They still got the mines from Ball, EMP from Cynic. A great pick there from Max 20.
Arteria, you cannot poke your head forward when 20 is looking directly at where you're going to be poking your head forward. You've got to wait for something to help you clear that gap. Squishy getting aggressive here, coming right in over the wall. He knows that there isn't that much by way of range that can actively challenge him up here.
Yeah, unfortunately, music doesn't stop bullets, and so Arteria found that out the hard way. And neither is Electric, as Riposte falls there as well.
The Ashbro has managed to get a kill, but and crucially, the Mercy goes down as well. Toxin sucks down, hack in over the back. Centacle finds Visions, of course, stripped down to just 50 health. It's pretty unfortunate. And we've got Arteria here trying to keep this point alive for as long as they can. Blur taking a moment there to set up the stall spin. Are they backing out and giving this over? No, Arteria boots them right the way off the point. Team South finally take control of the point.
And looking at the ult usage, South is currently in the advantage. Riposte almost has his Angry Monkey, and Squishy still holding on to that barrage as long as he can, with no one else sitting really close. So now we'll see how they decide to use this, as they, for the first time, have to attack the defending point.
Yeah, it's unfortunate they no longer have Centicle's EMP to help combo in this fight, but we've got a couple of swaps coming over. Centacle moving over onto the D.Va as well, so still quite a mobile, quite a damage-centric comp. Blur coming in for the initiation with the power driver. Gets stunned, almost all of the adaptive shield taken out as well. Coming in again, just going to cause a bit of a nuisance. Swing around that point. It's so hard to focus them there. Squishy manages to take Visions down, then at 20 finds Labius as well. Blur finally going down. But that's already 1 up in the fight for Team Africa, and they've got the Vaz, they've got the Valkyrie ready to go. That's Blur back in the fight. It's a pretty good position for Team Africa if they just secure these, found a few kills with the Primal Raging Winston on the point. Riposte falling very, very low, has to get out of dodge or fall victim. Centacle takes him down out of the fight, and we've got the minefield, we've got the south, we've got everything thrown at this fight, and it looks like we may just see enough kills coming out for Team Africa to allow them to kill and take possession of the point. 20 with a quick double there, taking Levius and Fisher. Is anybody even contesting 20? 20 just in the back, casually on a recliner, aiming those sights down into the point, getting kills. It's been a nice stall, a nice stagger here coming in from Team South, but sadly not quite enough. Overtime ticking over, nobody alive for Team South, and a barrage over the bridge is going to seal the point for Team Africa.
That was a great fight from Africa, taking it the way they wanted. I found it weird that 20 wasn't contested much at all, getting pick after pick, and no one really sent to deal with him. So maybe we're going to see South just look into that possibility if they run the Widowmaker again. But Team Africa just working well with their ults, not overextending and not underusing any of them, just making sure they have a response no matter what they think the enemy team has. So we are going to see Goats, I think, possibly coming through from Team Africa over here. Squishy, maybe a fair variation of Goats.
So usual one. Oh, we've got a pause. Who have we lost? Who's fallen victim to the spicy South African lag spike?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was everybody, but we are just having a quick pause, trying to sort these issues out. But you're looking at the comps, we'll see a Sombra variation Goats from the side of South, and a fairer variation from the side of Team Africa. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams go against each other with those different variations.
Yeah, so the Pharaoh goats is that I don't think
I've never seen that either.
run.
So I'm thinking he's
Yeah.
going to swap, but Squishy's enjoying the Pharaoh at the moment. So and he's getting quite a big value out of it. No one's really dealing with him too much. So maybe he thinks he can stick on it even with this weird variation that they have going.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the DPS slot. We've seen Leica Luke moving over onto the Sombra. Maybe we'll see a last-second change from Squishy as well. Maybe he's just throwing this so that
There
we'll
we
talk
go.
about it. Oh, yeah, there we go. So we've got a bit of a swap here. We've got regular Zenyatta goats coming out for Team Africa, and the high mobility, high damage Pharaoh Sombra Widowmaker coming out from Team South.
I'm going to see how they decide to push this point. We have like a Luke with the Pharaoh pocket on there, just trying to poke out as much as he can. Sombra's going to look for the ooh, nice pick coming onto Dizzy, and that's a big fight going out of the way.
Yeah, that's a really good early pick. That's 25% damage boost taken offline. But Team Africa have got the position here on the point. They're currently playing in the defensive role. Riposte rolling in with the power driver, starting to get kills, so that defensive positioning not working out all that well for them as we kills start to roll in, and a big group at the end takes Blur out of the fight. And despite the early defensive positioning coming out for Team Africa, Team South have rolled right on in and taken point.
Looking at ult usage, we see Lavia sitting around 80%. Riposte almost got his mines available, and that's going to be great for securing or holding the point. Blur swatch over to the Winston now, so possibly looking for some boops with the Primal Rage or just getting some nice cleave damage, but no one else really there is in a good position ult-wise. So now we'll see how they decide to make this attack.
Yes, it's a really good position to be in here. We have Blur swapping over onto the Winston, give them a little bit more mobility, but they're coming in at such an ult disadvantage here, and even more swaps coming out.
They're wasting a lot of time.
Centacle on 20 swap over. We've got 40% of the point capped here, and Team Africa nowhere to be seen. Levius has the wall hacks up and running. And throw in the backline. The hackening of it all takes down Dizzy straight away, and the minefield in over the top. Oh, vicious Centacle, D-Max. That's going to be pretty much a team wipe coming out there. That was, I mean, to be fair, it was 3 ults thrown at a problem that maybe could have been dealt with just 2. But you've got to be pretty happy with that at 65% of the point captured.
They definitely, I think, overcommitted a Blur ults. They were all used in good positions, but they possibly weren't all needed. Now we're going to see his Team South attack with 2 ults available. Vision's got his Transcendence and Luke's got his Barrage. We'll see how they decide to take this now as they push in.
Yes, I mean, I like the thought that we've got coming out from Team Africa here with Dizzy moving over onto the Moira, but I think it might be too little too late. Like a Luke with the Barrage finds 20 Ashbro, the follow up there, blurred down and out of the fight. Also, nice initiation, but Levi is able to find Dizzy, and the Reds coming in from Arteria, bringing Leica Luke back into the fight. So, I mean, a lot of work done there for Team Africa, but not really enough, although this self-destruct may enable them to get a little bit more point presence. There we go, they've finally taken position on the point, but they've not really got any more ults to play with, unless 20 is very quick at getting his ultimate back into the fight, but they don't need it. 20, Squishy, Centacle, getting the last few stragglers out, but we are in last fight territory here. We just need Team South to win one more team fight, and they will take this match.
So now we have to have Team Africa just hold the entire point. They can't give it up in fear of losing the map here. We do see Ashbro gonna have his EMP coming online now. 20 already has his, so it's gonna be a fight of EMPs. They're obviously a big pick on Tox there.
Yeah, early pick. Probably not gonna. Whoa! And the follow-up EMP is big. It gets 4. Ashbro dies in the exchange, though. Centacle gets the D-Mech. And there we go. There's the second EMP. I was just wondering when that was going to come out. Primal Rage for Blur as well. Swinging the monkey arms onto point. 3 kills now coming out for Team Africa. Is that going to be enough for them to maintain control of the point? Well, yeah, do you know what? Looks very much like it is. Dizzy using the Coalescence at the end there. Not sure I think that was necessary, though.
No, but great chase coming from Blur, just keeping that mobility on the Winston, chasing the ball all the way through and managing to get the pick, staggering him just a little bit, but, you know, you'll take the small victories where you can get them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the longer they can hold on, the better their chances of taking the map overall. But I do think we've got another bit of a pause coming up. Not entirely sure who is the victim this time. We are going to be taking. Yeah, there we go. We've lost 20, unfortunately. So the 20 with a little bit of a disconnect. But what would it be if it wasn't? Would it be in the South African Overwatch if we weren't having disconnects?
I
And
mean,
lag
we say
boxes?
disconnect, but he just got 1v1 by Ashbro, so maybe there was a little bit of, throwing screens around.
Maybe that final punch came all the way through the screen, past the character, through to the player themselves, and they've been knocked unconscious.
That's,
That's unfortunate.
definitely possible. Sombra is known for her, technology, so possible.
Yeah, this can happen. I've seen Tron.
Exactly. Looking at ult usage, though, we do have Warlax coming from Lavia soon. He's been doing great with his picks, managing to find prime targets and getting them out before the fight even starts, making it that much harder for Team Africa to hold or push. They have managed to do it, though, so we'll see how he decides to continue with those picks. Tox needs to be a bit careful with his positioning. He seems to be caught out by Lavius quite a bit. Riposte has got his mind, so he can look at putting those at the choke, possibly even on point when they try and secure that for that last percentage.
I mean, that's what you want, isn't it? You want to make it as hard as possible for Team Africa to have this final fight, and having those mines spread nice and wide over the point means that they can't just go in willy-nilly and throw the damage in. They've got to actually dodge the mines because it's what, 120, 150 per mine. It's a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot of damage. You can't just ignore it.
It is unfortunate that 20 has been off, so that EMP percentage is going to be dropped all the way down to 0 now. So it means Ashbro is going to get his a lot sooner and possibly get a huge pick or set up with it. So we need to see how 20 decides, possibly make a switch or maybe try and grind that percentage back up really quickly. But I think there's nothing more game changing. You go Vision to 64%, 40% to the. Oh, okay, good thing. I didn't even see the countdown.
Yeah, there we go. We are back. Wow, on the back of that caught napping, Centacle able to get a quick double, allowing them to come roaring back onto the point, and a hack onto Ashbro means that they are not able to foil that sort of menacing on the enemy team themselves. There's the minefield we were talking about, and it's blocked off one of those entrances. Arturia brings Ashbro back into the fight. It was 90% of the way to an ultimate, and this is going to be exactly where it turns, if it's going to turn. It looks like Team Africa, 75% of the way to having that point actually recapped back again. Do they flip it over? Yeah, they flip it over. Team Africa in control of the point. The rally thrown in by Squishy at the end there. No idea why that was used. Celebratory, maybe. It's like, I'm so happy with how that fight went. I'm going to throw my rally in and just hope for the best. But now, aggressive positioning coming out from both teams. Another big hack. Transcendence coming in as well. Like a Luke finds 2 with the barrage. This is going to go right back around again. If we can get them onto point and ready to go. Just got to get these last few stragglers. The Discord Orb onto the Moira. Moira not able to get out of the way. Nowhere to hide away from that Discord Orb. Riposte coming in, takes Centacle down. Takes it out of the fight, and a sound barrier from Toxin Socks. Hacked as well, but it doesn't matter because the sound barrier was good. It got off. Riposte down. Like Luke brought back into the fight. This is all just waiting for one final kill from one way or the other. And that is going to be, despite that hack coming in at the end, that is going to be point captured for Team Africa. What a scrappy fight on the back of having a player disconnect. That Centacle getting 2 open things up so much so quickly.
That was, I think, 5-man hack, 2 picks, and they're still not winning that fight. I think they really need to look at the, how they're picking those targets. Then, if they're not able to take that point and retain it, because
yeah, I think
that was a bit scrappy.
There's this thing where EMP sort of breeds complacency. You think, oh, well, great, we've EMP'd them. They've got nothing, they can't do anything now. This is going to be an easy win. And so people don't push in as hard as they can, and they don't win on the back of the EMP. But this is what I was hoping to see. Here we go, Centacle, famous for their Mei play. And this is the map where you're going to run Mei if you're going to run Mei anyway. So keep your eyes on Centacle, everybody. This is going to be the big one. Pushing right for the wall, blocks off a lot of targets. 20 able to get the first kill. First 2 kills, in fact. With the follow-up onto Lycalu. This is what we wanted to see. Centacle on the Mei, buying a lot of value just with the Mei wall and just with the slow. That's a really dominant first fight for Team Africa.
I mean, there's a reason Senti's known for his Mei, and it's those amazing positionings on the wall, the quick flicks to the easy ice cubicles, whatever you want to call them. And
icicles.
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
ice cubicles is icicles is not short for ice cubicles. I don't know who taught you that, but they were having you on. Oh, whoa, ow, away from the rest of the team. Lyca gets Toxin Sucks, but Blur gets the better of Riposte in the fight, and an ice block online for Senti. 87% of the way to the ultimate. I think this is going to be another one going in the direction of Team Africa. They're just going to get a little bit more presence. Squishy with the rally as well. It's going to make it even harder, but Riposte takes Dizzy. Levius with Blur, and the Blizzard gets eaten. Ashbro taking that out of the fight. So with 2 ultimates thrown in, this looks like it could go back over to Team South, because they are the ones with the kills on their side of the kill feed. Squishy left alone on the point, just needs to get taken out, and that is going to be the point flipping over 40. No, we've got another contester. We've got a Lucio riding the central pillar. Good try from Toxin Stocks, but not quite enough to keep that alive.
I don't know how I feel about that attempt to hold it. I mean, I get the thought behind it, but all you did is stagger the Lucio so far back. They're using to give them even more time at the end now. He's a Lucio, so you can speed up the rest of his team, but there was quite a bit of time that they wasted there. So we'll now see how the attack decides to be made. Gravity is being used here.
Early Graviton, but oh no, the bomb comes in over the top of the Maywall. The Maywall flipping up and over. Blur falling victim to that. They're probably going to want to just back out here on the back of that. They think, yeah, fine, 1 ult, 1 kill, great. Let's regroup and try that again, because they have got a Graviton Surge, they have got a Blizzard, they've got the Snow Globe ready to go.
See now as Visions has his Transcendence available for whatever attack comes through. There we're going to see the grab coming through, ice coming through as well. Now we see who gets frozen.
Yeah, and a big charge onto Riposte. Riposte frozen, taken down out of the fight. 3 kills on the board for Team Africa. They flip the point over at 51%. But this is often how this map goes. You know, you come in with a bunch of ults, you steamroll them off the point, and you maintain a bit of possession. The other team is going to be coming back in, and they're going to be coming back in with 3 support ults and a hammered down. So this could just bounce right back again. I wouldn't be surprised.
As long as Toxic get caught in the hammer down, I think that sound barrier will be great in terms of defense that they got holding now. But that's 4 ults they have to deal with only 3 of their own. Red is going to be used. Wall's going up really nicely there.
Yeah, oh, beautiful sound barrier from Arteria keeps everybody on the side of the point alive. Both sound barriers committed into the fight. Nothing coming out of that shatter. Nothing coming out from Riposte either. In fact, because of the Blizzard, because of the Transcendence, because of everything being thrown at this fight, Ashbro able to get in and find a frozen target. No, get frozen themselves, but they are being chased. Chased by Senti coming in, gets the D-Mech. Wall not going to be enough to save Senti, as it looks like we may possibly see this flip over. No, the Graviton Surge is good, and it locks up 2. Lyca Luke alone on the point, valiantly holding them off. It's not going to be enough, and the overtime timer is going to tick right the way down, and that is going to be Team Africa taking all 3 wins on Lijiang Tower.
That freeze still has me shook. He got frozen mid animation for that what do you call hammer down? That we will call that skill because of how good Senti is at May, but wow, that's something you don't see often. Mid animation freeze just coming in clutch.
Yeah, it's there's a reason we brought this up at the start of the fight. Is Senti with that May pick was always going to be a real force to be reckoned with, and I'm glad that they had the chance to show this off during this this trial for the Overwatch World Cup.
I think that's it for us today, though. I think, well,
Yeah,
trials may
I think you're
continue.
right.
We are going to be calling it a day. They're going to head into a little bit more nitty-gritty things that we want to, you know, unveil a surprise once we reach World Cup. So we don't want to release everything. But I hope everyone's had a good time so far.
Yeah, I know I have. It's been great to see exactly what this region has to offer. And I hope that anybody who is watching who is not from South Africa is going to go and find the South African Overwatch World Cup team over on Twitter and give them a bit of support as one of the smaller, one of the less well represented regions in the world of Overwatch. Certainly could do with as much support as you can afford to give them.
But from myself and from, I know, Nari as well, we say goodbye. You can say goodbye yourself because you are here.
I can. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all next time.
Bye.